In 2026, the compact SUV segment is basically ruled by two names, Toyota RAV4 and Honda CR-V. And for most buyers, the conversation stops right there. But Mazda quietly rebuilt the CX-5 from the ground up, kept all-wheel drive standard, doubled down on interior quality and driving feel, and somehow still priced it right in the middle of the same battlefield. This is Scott from CarlandTV, and today we're breaking down why the all-new 2026 Mazda CX-5 might be the smarter buy over the RAV4 and CR-V, if you actually care about how your SUV feels every single day. But first, do me a quick favor. Tap that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. It ain't required, but those clicks keep this thing rolling and make it easier for me to keep dropping solid car content straight to your screen. Now let's get back into it. What Mazda actually changed. The 2026 CX-5 isn't a new grille, same car refresh. Mazda rebuilt it into a bigger, more modern compact SUV, and the upgrades land exactly where people actually live. Rear seat space, cargo room, and tech that doesn't feel like it time-traveled from 2016. The body grows in every direction that matters, and Mazda's launch info calls out real gains in rear comfort and utility, which is the polite way of saying the old one could feel tight behind a tall driver. Powertrain-wise, Mazda kept it simple at launch. A 2.5-liter Skyactiv G four-cylinder with 187 horsepower and 186 pound-feet, a 6-speed automatic, and iActive all-wheel drive standard. That last part is the quiet flex, because a lot of rivals make you climb trims to get all-wheel drive, and that adds up fast. No turbo option at launch for 2026, so the pitch isn't fastest in the class. The pitch is predictable power, a real automatic instead of a CVT, and all-wheel drive that's there every time it's raining sideways. Inside, the tech jump is obvious. Mazda moved to its largest center screen yet, and bakes in Google built-in, which means native Google Maps, Assistant, and app support without playing phone cable roulette every drive. They also ditched the old rotary controller-only vibe in favor of a more direct touch setup, which is overdue, and yeah, it's going to make daily use way easier. Plus, the new driver assist suite is broader, so the safety tech isn't stuck behind a trim-level paywall. That's why this CX-5 has a legit case against the usual Toyota and Honda answers. The foundation is more space, standard all-wheel drive, and a cabin and interface that finally feel like they belong in 2026. And that sets up the real debate, what you give up and what you gain versus the hybrid-heavy crowd, either. No turbo, no problem. Turbo fans are going to feel this one, because yeah, Mazda killed the 2.5 turbo for the 2026 CX-5. Last year's turbo setup was the one people loved for real-world punch, up to 256 horsepower and 320 pound-feet on premium gas. And even on regular, you were still looking at 227 horsepower and 310 pound-feet. That big low RPM torque was the whole "this thing moves" personality, especially when you're merging, climbing grades, or hauling a packed cabin. For 2026, Mazda launches the CX-5 with one gas engine, the naturally aspirated 2.5-liter four-cylinder rated at 187 horsepower and 186 pound-feet, paired with its 6-speed automatic and standard iActive all-wheel drive. It's the same basic output number Mazda's been using on the non-turbo CX-5, just now it's the only option. That tells you the mission. Mazda wants simpler builds, fewer powertrain combinations, and better cost control, especially as they prep a proper hybrid system for later. If you wanted a punchy CX-5, Mazda basically said, "Cool, go buy a CX-50 Turbo." Does that make the 2026 CX-5 slow? Nah, it makes it normal. Throttle response is predictable. The 6-speed feels like a real transmission, and it doesn't do the rubber band thing people complain about with a lot of CVTs. Day to day, it's smooth, quiet, and easy to drive, which is what most CX-5 buyers actually do with it. Anyone pretending every commute is a track day is lying to themselves and their brake pads. The trade is simple: less torque, less shove, less wow on a highway pass, but you get a cleaner lineup, and Mazda can pour the budget into the parts you touch every day. That lines up perfectly with why standard all-wheel drive matters here, because traction and control are a bigger deal than an extra 70 horsepower when the weather turns ugly. Why standard all-wheel drive matters. Have you ever priced out a compact SUV and realized the base model you saw in the ad is front-wheel drive, cloth seats, and basically a rental spec special. Then you click the box for all-wheel drive and watch the monthly payment creep up. Mazda looked at that game and just said, forget it. Every 2026 CX-5 gets iActive all-wheel drive. No upgrade menu, no trim gymnastics. From a technical standpoint, Mazda's iActive system isn't some reactive setup that waits for the tires to spin. It monitors steering angle, throttle input, outside temperature, wheel speed, and even wiper usage to predict slip and shift torque before things get messy. In real life, that means better stability when it's pouring rain, when the pavement's cold, or when you hit that sandy patch mid-corner. You're not turning it into a rock crawler, but you're also not relying on two front tires to do all the work. Now compare that to how the segment usually plays out. A lot of RAV4 trims still start as front-wheel drive, and AWD is either optional or tied to certain powertrains. Same with the CR-V outside specific higher trims. Translation in money terms. If you want AWD on some competitors, you pay for it, either directly or through a trim jump that bundles other stuff you may not care about. Mazda basically baked traction into the baseline. The trade is that you don't get a cheaper front-drive entry CX-5 to advertise a rock-bottom starting price. But if you live anywhere that actually has weather, that standard all-wheel drive starts to feel less like a luxury add-on and more like common sense. And once you look at how Toyota leans heavily into hybrids now, the value conversation gets even more interesting. Toyota's hybrid-only gamble. Toyota went and changed the whole playing field with the 2026 RAV4 because the base gas-only RAV4 is basically dead in the US lineup now. The redesigned 2026 model is hybrid-only across the regular trims, and that matters because Toyota just made hybrid money the default price of admission. For 2026, the base RAV4 Hybrid LE starts around $33,350, and that's before you start clicking options like you're ordering a burrito. The hybrid system itself is not some weak sauce assist either. Toyota's standard hybrid setup is rated at 226 horsepower in front-wheel drive form, and it jumps to 236 horsepower when you add all-wheel drive, because Toyota uses an extra rear electric motor for all-wheel drive. Toyota and a bunch of outlets also list all-wheel drive as roughly a $1,400 add depending on trim, which is important when you compare it to the CX-5 being all-wheel drive only. Mazda's standard AWD looks nicer on paper until you realize Toyota can still come in cheaper if you stick with front-wheel drive and just want maximum MPG. Then there's the plug-in side, because Toyota didn't stop at hybrid for everyone. The 2026 RAV4 plug-in hybrid is in another lane, with output around 324 horsepower and an all-electric range, typically quoted in the low 50-mile neighborhood, depending on testing and spec. That kind of electric range is the difference between cute hybrid savings and I might not visit a gas station for a while if your routine is mostly commuting and errands. Put that next to the 2026 CX-5's launch setup, which is a 187 horsepower 2.5-liter gas engine only, and you can see why Toyota's move changes the conversation. Mazda can beat Toyota on steering feel and cabin vibe, but Toyota is coming at buyers with efficiency, power delivery, and electrification baked into the lineup. And yeah, Honda sees this shift too, but the CR-V plays the game differently because comfort and everyday usability are where it tries to win people over. CR-V's comfort edge. Comfort is where the CR-V keeps cashing checks, and it's not because Honda sprinkled magic on it. The numbers back it up. Rear legroom sits right around 41 inches, and cargo room is about 39 cubic feet behind the second row, stretching to roughly 76.5 cubes with the seats folded. That's throw the stroller in sideways and still close the hatch space, which is why families keep ending up in a CR-V even when they swore they were just browsing. Honda also tunes the CR-V like it's made for real roads, not influencer B-roll. The ride is smooth, the cabin is easy to live in, and the controls don't make you feel like you need a tutorial. Edmunds specifically calls out the roomy interior, easy-to-use tech, and smooth, comfortable ride, which is basically the holy trinity for daily driving. Powertrain choice matters here. The CR-V hybrid uses Honda's two-motor system with a 2-liter engine and electric motors for 204 horsepower, and Honda rates it up to 40 miles per gallon in the city and 34 miles per gallon on the highway in certain trims. It's not a rocket, but it's efficient, quiet cruising when you're just doing life stuff. Mazda's counterpunch isn't space, it's its feel and finish. The 2026 CX-5 leans on standard I-active all-wheel drive and a 6-speed automatic, which is a big deal if you hate CVT behavior and want a cleaner throttle-to-road connection. Mazda also steps up the interface with a much larger touchscreen and Google built in, so it finally feels like the infotainment belongs in this decade. Comfort buyers are going to love the CR-V for its room and easy manners. The CX-5 wins the moment you care how the steering loads up, how the cabin materials feel, and whether your transmission acts like it's negotiating with you every time you touch the gas. Who is this SUV really for? Shopping this segment in 2026 comes down to what you actually care about. Because the 2026 RAV4 and CR-V are basically optimized for efficiency and everyday practicality, while the all-new CX-5 is optimized for how it feels and how it's put together. Toyota going hybrid only means the baseline RAV4 now starts with hybrid power around the 226 to 236 horsepower range, depending on drivetrain, and the plug-in can hit about 324 horsepower with roughly a 50-mile electric range. Honda's CR-V hybrid sits at 204 horsepower and can still pull strong EPA numbers, especially in front-wheel drive. The 2026 CX-5 shows up with one straightforward setup at launch, a 2.5-liter making 187 horsepower and 186 pound-feet, a 6-speed automatic, and I-active all-wheel drive on every trim. No turbo, no hybrid at launch. That's the whole deal. Anyone walking in expecting Mazda to beat Toyota on MPG is going to have a rough day. The CX-5's win is the driving connection, the real transmission feel, standard all-wheel drive without trim games, and an interior and interface that finally look like they belong. A CX-5 makes the most sense for the buyer who values the cabin vibe and daily feel more than the spec sheet flex. Commuting, school runs, quick highway passes, crappy weather, and just wanting something that feels tight and composed, that's where it shines. Somebody who hates CVT behavior, likes a more premium layout, and wants all-wheel drive, no matter what trim they pick, is the exact target. RAV4 is the easy recommendation for people who rack up miles and want hybrid efficiency baked in by default, especially if plug-in range fits their routine. CR-V is the comfort king for families who want space, a chill ride, and a layout that never fights you. The CX-5 is for the person who gets in the driver's seat and immediately notices when a vehicle feels cheap, numb, or overcomplicated, then pays a little extra attention to what their hands and feet are telling them.